for April 23rd at 3:30 to order. And as an aside, this is our last meeting for both council and committee of adjustment here in Ilderton. We'll be back at Coldstream early in May. So I'll begin. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I've got some preamble. The chair to call the meeting to order at 3:30. Members of the public are invited to participate in this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment by attending the meeting in person here at the Ilderton Arena. Members of the public may also access the meeting, which will be live streamed on our Middlesex Center YouTube channel, or by contacting the municipal deputy clerk to receive a registration link to join the meeting electronically. Members of the public wishing to appear as a delegation can register for the meeting by visiting middlesexcenter.ca/participating council meetings, or by contacting the municipal clerk, and you can pick up her phone number by 4:30 on the Monday of the week of the scheduled meeting. All requests to delegate are subject to the provisions of the Middlesex Center Committee of Adjustment Procedure Bylaw. Members of the public can choose to delegate in person or by electronic participation. Accessible formats and communication supports are available upon request. So now I'll go to the committee. Do we have any additions to the agenda? Anyone? No? Okay. I'll have to read disclosure of pecuniary interest, which is conflict of interest. The Municipal Conflict of Interest Act requires any committee of adjustment members declaring a pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof, where the interest of a member of the Committee of Adjustment has not been disclosed by reason of the member's absence from the meeting, to disclose the interest at the first open meeting attended by the member of the Committee of Adjustment and otherwise comply with the Act. Okay, so we're going to get into the agenda. The first piece of business is the adoption of the March 26th Committee of Adjustment meeting. So I'll entertain motions. Mover, Councillor Shipley, seconder, Councillor Arts. All in favor? Okay, that's carried. So off to current applications. Members of the public that wish to receive further notification on any of the applications being considered today, I ask that you please send an email to the deputy clerk at clerk@middlesexcenter.ca requesting further information. Please be advised that comments expressed and written material presented are a matter of public record. If you have questions or on any of the applications being heard today, we ask that you direct those to the appropriate planner on file. Members of the public that have requested to speak will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address council and provide comments on the applications. In keeping with our procedural bylaw and our R-zone policy, I would remind all of our meeting participants to use respectful language and uphold our values of cooperation, trust, and openness. So at this time, before we get into the minor variances before us, I always explain the procedure, how things will work. So I, as the chair, will introduce the application, and I might do some preamble on it. Then I will turn to our planner, who is Dan Fitzgerald to my left, and he will present his planning report. Then I will turn to the applicant or their agent to answer any questions or make any comments. And then I will turn to anybody in the audience that wishes to question or comment the application. And then we'll turn to the internet to see if anybody's there who have comments or questions. And then I'll turn to Committee of Adjustment for comments and questions. And then we move to voting on that application. So in the first instance, the first application is A062025, 1 Maplewood Lane, Unit 4, Ilderton, Ontario. This minor variance application filed by Emily Naylor for relief from the comprehensive zoning bylaw in order to establish a minimum rear yard setback for an addition to an existing single detached dwelling. So I will now turn to you, Dan, to present your report.
Yeah, so through the chair to members of the committee. So as you had mentioned, minor variance file A6/2025. The purpose and effect is to seek relief from the comprehensive zoning bylaw as it does relate to the minimum rear yard setback requirement. So in this case, the applicant is requesting a rear yard setback of 5.64 meters, whereas the zoning bylaw requires 8 meters. And the effect would be to permit the construction of an addition, which is located to go in the south interior side yard. This particular property is zoned urban residential first density exception 1 in the zoning bylaw. It's designated settlement area in the county's official plan, and it's residential in Middlesex Center's official plan. It represents a unit in a vacant land condominium, and it is surrounded by single detached residents on all sides. The applicant is seeking to construct an addition off the south interior side yard, but due to the unique shape and characteristics of this particular lot, the addition, while still located in the interior side yard, does encroach into the rear yard setback. The applicant, or sorry, in this case, the application was circulated. We didn't receive any concerns raised by internal departments or external agencies. Also, we did not receive any public comments through circulation. I have reviewed the application against the Planning Act tests. I would say generally it's not considered to create a negative impact on the adjacent parcels, and it does represent a unique shape of lot, which is constraining the addition in this particular case. So given the above, I am recommending approval of minor variance, subject to the condition outlined in the planning report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Is the applicant or their agent here? Would you like to say anything, sir? You don't have to, but do you have any comments? Perfect. So I'll turn to the internet. Is there anybody on the internet? Okay, no. So then I'll turn to committee members for comments or questions. Anyone? No? Okay. So then we can go to voting on this. So I'll accept a mover and seconder. Councillor Coles, Councillor Arts. It's moved. And let's vote. Let's call the vote. All in favor? Okay, that is passed, sir. So you get your minor variance, okay? Thank you. Okay, I'll move on to the second application this evening. It's application for minor variance A072025. It's 13291 Ilderton Road in Ilderton. The planner is Dan Fitzgerald, and before I turn to Dan, I just want to acknowledge that we received 3 pieces of correspondence. Janice Robinson, Roman Cece Lesky, I think, Fred and Amanda Nebesnuik, and Mike McQueen. 2 were against, 1 was in favor of this. So I hope you got this correspondence, Dan, and I'll turn to you. Go ahead and present your report.
Yeah, so through the chair to members of the committee. So the purpose in effect of application A7/2025 is to seek relief from the comprehensive zoning bylaw as it does relate to the minimum front yard setback requirements. So in this case, the applicant is requesting a front yard setback of 1.5 meters, whereas the bylaw requires a 6-meter setback on the front yard. And the effect of this variance would be to commit the construction of an addition, in this case, an extension of the existing attached garage on the front to add another garage bay. So the property is zoned urban residential first density in the zoning bylaw. It's designated settlement area in the official plan. It's also designated residential in Middlesex Center's official plan. It was created through consent in 2018, where a new single detached dwelling was built. As part of the consent, a road dedication was taken, which can be seen on the location map. And then given the dedication, the house is set back quite far from the road allowance in comparison to the adjacent parcels on either side. The applicant is seeking to construct an addition off the front by extending the existing garage towards the street. So the application was circulated. Generally, we didn't receive many concerns from internal departments, although where they were raised, they were discussed and addressed. I also spoke with the county engineer, who did not have concerns with the proposed reduction to the front yard along the county road, due to the setback of the adjacent dwellings on either side, as well as the road dedication taken previously. I did receive 2 letters this morning noting concerns with the reduced setbacks. The letters noted concerns surrounding sight lines and the use or potential use of the proposed addition. Planning staff note that due to the road dedication, a large setback currently does exist and would continue to exist if approved. given location of the front property line adjacent to the sidewalk. So in this particular case, if you do look at the location map that's attached to the planning report, it does show where the front property line exists in comparison to the neighboring property lines on either side. And you will note that it is still quite far back from where the sidewalk is. So in this case, even with a reduced front yard setback, the house is set back well behind where the existing residents are on either side of this particular property. So I have reviewed the application against the Planning Act tests. Due to the location of the adjacent residence as well as the dedication previously taken, planning is of the opinion that the reduction to the front yard setback could be considered appropriate. Negative impacts to sight lines would not occur as the front property line does remain well back of the existing sidewalk and curb. Additionally, the entrance to the garage is facing internal to the site and would slow traffic leaving and coming to the site to ensure pedestrian safety. A condition has been added, or 3 conditions have been added to the requested recommendation. Noting that the owner be required to submit a surveyed plan prior to construction to ensure that all setbacks and lot coverages are met. Additionally, they would require a lot grading plan. And there is a note that no access shall be permitted to the front facade of the garage in this particular case. So subject to these conditions, planning is of the opinion that the proposed minor variance does meet the tests of the Planning Act. And as such, I am recommending approval of minor variance A7/2025, subject to the 3 conditions as listed. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Is the applicant or their agent here? Do you wish to say anything or make any comments? Could you come up here if you're going to make comments, please? And just hit the button to speak, okay? You'll see it at the microphone. Please.
It's the garage bay is, my husband has a 79 Firebird and it's more for the storage of it than for any other thing. And the garage door would be facing the same as the garage door currently. That's the plan.
Okay, thank you. Did you hit that? Okay, good. Is there anybody in the audience here that wants to comment, sir? Presume not? No, okay. Turning over to Sophie. Anybody on the internet, Sophie? No. Okay, I'll now turn to comments and questions from committee. Councillor Cates, go ahead.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. My questions that I had are now answered, and if you really zoom in on the site plan, you can see where the existing sidewalk is, and there's still going to be a lot of grass from the edge of the garage. I think in first reading this, it makes you think that their garage is going to be 5 feet from the edge of the sidewalk, sort of like the neighbor to the one side. So, yeah, I think that's clearer now. Thank you.
Councillor Arts.
Through the chair to Dan, this thing's not working, so maybe my question's already been corrected, but on page 2, relief requested 1.5 meters should be 5 feet and not 20. I had to scratch my head about it first, so thanks.
Always on the details, Councillor Arts. We can always count on you. Okay. Did you have a question or comment, Councillor Coles?
Thank you. Through the chair to Dan. So thank you for talking about the setback from the county road. That's important. That was one of my questions. And thank you for answering about the purpose. That was also one of my questions. My next question is for Dan, just regarding some of the residents were concerned about visibility and safety concern. Just so you're aware, there is Oxbow's bus stop is right there at the daycare. Drop off and pickup happens at this location, and then there are 2 daycares now along our main street there. So if you could just comment on visibility along Ilderton Road, and if you believe this will be an impact. Thank you.
Yeah, so through the chair, when we look at these types of variances, we kind of look at what the existing condition is along the road in general, and what the existing street wall is along, or what the character is along, in this case, Ilderton Road. So certainly, within the stretch on this particular side of the road, many of the properties are situated quite close to the road, right off the sidewalks in most cases. In this particular instance, because of the dedication that was required previously, it pushes the front property line back quite a ways from where that existing street line is on either side of this particular property. So even in the instance where we reduce down to 1.5 meters, we're still quite a ways back from where you see a sidewalk anyways, in this particular case, and then even quite a ways back from where the two front walls on our either side of the property. So in terms of sight lines, I wouldn't really say this would impact it any any additional negative manner, especially in this instance. The garage in this case isn't going to be actively used, I would say. But even if it was, because the front door doesn't actually face Ilderton Road, there's no immediate conflict with pedestrians or anyone walking by. So that's very important where we added that condition to say we don't want a garage door there in this particular instance. So that will help ensure pedestrian safety for sure.
Okay, anything else from the committee? No, we're all set. Can I get a mover and seconder to table this for vote? Counselor Cates and Counselor Shipley. Okay, so I'm going to pose the vote. All in favor? Okay, that is carried. So your minor variance is granted. Okay, thank you. Next thing on the agenda is to receive correspondence. I'm going to add in the other two pieces that were sent in at the last minute. So you see what we have there, Robinson, cheese, well, whatever it is, Selesky, I think. And then we have correspondence from Fred and Amanda Nebesnuik, and we have a Mike McQueen. So can I get a mover and seconder to receive correspondence? Over. Counselor Coles, Counselor Cates, all in favor, that's carried. Is there any other business for the committee to attend to? No, I don't see any. So now I need a mover and seconder for adjournment. Counselor Coles, Counselor Cates, all in favor, that's carried. So this committee of adjustment now stands adjourned. Thank you.